You're listening to Feasting on the Divine with Trinka, where we encourage you to feed your mind, body, and soul with divinely inspired words and divinely delicious foods while maintaining a fit lifestyle. Welcome. I'm your host, Trinka, and we're talking faith, food, and fitness. So if you're ready, come on, let's feast. Hello, how are you today? I am doing wonderful. Spent some much needed time outside. I'm a country girl, love nature. So I sat outside on the patio at my local library. Yes, our library has 2 patios. So I sat outside today and did some writing. Let me just, start by saying thank you. I really thank you for being here. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for sharing this podcast on your social media outlets. Really appreciate that. Today we are going to talk about what inspires us. Inspiration, words we use quite often. But what does it really mean to be inspired? We'll talk about today the meaning of inspiration. What are some sources of inspiration for you? And I want to conclude with some words that I hope will spark some inspiration in you. So we will jump right into it right after this. You're listening to Feasting on the Divine with Trinka, where we discuss why it's so vital to feed every part of our being with positive intention. Find me on politejourney.com. Follow me on Twitter and Pinterest at Miss Trinka V. Now, back to our show. Okay, what inspires you? Let's first take a look at the words inspired and inspiration. I visited an old friend today, Merriam-Webster. I'm curious to know how many people still have hard copies of encyclopedias and dictionaries in their homes. A girlfriend and I was just talking about that today, that she needs to buy a new dictionary for her son. So just wondering, I love ebooks, but there's nothing like holding a book in your hand to me. Okay, so back to the definitions. Inspired. Full definition is outstanding or brilliant in a way or to a degree suggestive of divine inspiration. The simple definition, having a particular cause or influence. Inspiration, on the other hand, is defined as a divine influence or action on a person believed to qualify him or her to receive and communicate sacred revelation. The action or power of moving the intellect or emotions. Wow. Brings a whole new perspective, huh? When I consider the full definition, and I want you to consider the full definition as well, I can say there's probably 3 or maybe 4 things for sure I know that inspire me. Things I would describe as outstanding or brilliant, causing a divine influence, leading to sacred revelations, which moves my intellect or emotions. Those things would be, for me, quotes. I love quotes. I love the Bible. I love reading the Bible. Music touches me in a wonderful way, which I'm sure it does for a lot of people. It truly is a universal language. And the last thing, and maybe a surprise, but when I think about divine influence or something that moves my intellect or emotions, having conversations with my siblings. And I know everyone is biased, but my siblings are so unique and intelligent and cultured and lived, and we bring all these different experiences together. And I always leave inspired by something when I'm talking to my sister and my brothers. Wonderful, wonderful human beings. Okay, so I said quotes, Bible, music, conversation. But now that I say it out loud, I'm wondering, is that 4 sources of inspiration or sources, or one source in 4 different forms, because all of them involve words, which is not really a big surprise since I am a poet. I've always been fascinated by language. And if you're interested, there's an e-magazine on politejourney.com where I explore different facets and the influence of language. It's called Red Rock, so if you want to check that out, again, it's on politejourney.com. So friends, what inspires you? I read a quote the other day that said, "This is not your practice life." This is not your practice life. It's amazing how those words just touch something in my spirit. And now I want to ask you, what I ask myself. What are you waiting for? This is not your practice life. If you're inspired and haven't acted upon it, what do you need to motivate you to go forward? Now to go back to our dictionary for a moment. Remember, inspire in its basic form is to influence. Motive, on the other hand, is a reason for doing something that causes you to act. So when I read those 2 different definitions, I was wondering, do you agree that you can be inspired and not motivated? We so often, interchange those words, inspiration, motivation, as if they mean the same thing. So I'm wondering what you think. So, please let me know in the comments and the messages below, what you think. And also, share with me your inspirations. What inspires you? What are your favorite scriptures or life quotes? One of my favorite scriptures, Romans 8:18, it helps me to focus and remember who I am in God. And reading the New International Version, Romans 8:18 is, "I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." And my life quote reminds me not to lose myself in the midst of daily life and whatever the world chooses to throw my way. And that is by one of my favorite people, E.E. Cummings. "To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting." That quote was shared with me when I was in graduate school. Those years when we're trying to form who we are. And I'll read that one more time because I think it's so powerful. "To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting." So I look forward to hearing your inspirations and your favorite scriptures, your life quotes. I'll check back for those in the days to come to see what you shared. And as we wrap up, as always, I do want to leave you with an encouraging poem. This poem is from my second poetry collection. Pain is Fertile Ground. Hope you enjoy it and hope it inspires you. Dare to dream. It's your life. Dare to dream. Be bold and true. Be sure to be honest in all that you do. Grab onto your vision and the story will be told of how your life is magnificently blessed as each day unfolds. Know you will be required to stand the test. You will also be told that you are too different from the rest. But ask yourself, is your dream out of reach? Is it close enough to touch? Have you ever in your life wanted something so much? Go forward and claim it, because this is your dream. Don't you know with God you can do anything? Dare to go beyond. It is your right. Does the Holy Word say anything about maybe or might? From what I've read, we will have more than we can receive. Ask for guidance when you're down on your knees. Say, Lord, show me the path because my dream is so big. He'll say, if it lines up with my will, you can have anything you wish. He'll whisper to you, my beloved, you've made it this far by my mercy and grace. Your worship tells me that I'm welcomed in this place. Because God truly moves where you dwell. He knows the dreams you speak and those you don't tell. So set your mind free to hear from heaven above. Clear it of hurt and anger and fill it with love. Dare to dream, my sisters and brothers, each and every one, because as long as we are here on this earth, our work is not done. Be inspired, be motivated to act and live. This is not your practice life. I'm your host, Trinka Polite, and you're listening to Feasting on the Divine. Be sure to check out more info on politejourney.com, and I will meet you here next time. Be blessed.